All right. Um, to the sit down, what are there what have you been satisfied with or any concerns that you've had?
I think that your explanation of how your global reach for our product is going to be is satisfactory. I think this day and age, reaching the global market is becoming a little easier, and you've done a really nice job explaining that. I think at the same time, you've done a pretty good job of explaining how you're going to take this content and then use kind of a data driven tech approach to try to grow our brand. Um, One of the problems, I think we're running into is that, you know, do you feel that, we have the infrastructure in place to be able to handle this increase in demand? And do you think that there's a place that, your content creation can, help us, be able to handle the increased demand of, where we want our product to go?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the importance of leveraging these content creator relationships because the more you're putting your product out there, the more awareness there is for it. And with the release of your product, we're expecting a lot more in initial sales. So with those initial sales will be an uptick in revenue for your company. And with that increased revenue in the short term, you can put towards increasing funding towards areas like production, labor, and also even research and development for further product development in the future. So maybe not profiting that much in the short term, but with that short term stark increase in revenue, you can allocate that towards other areas that can increase your company's ability to meet that demand.
I guess in previous experience, what is a realistic, expectation for increase of sales? Because, it's really that fine line for us between margin and profit that, like, we're more than willing to make the investment up front, but how much should, you know, do we need to be, is there an expectation to hire more people, or are we kind of set there to be able to handle this increase in brand awareness?
Absolutely. And I think, and to touch on the first part, um, in terms of expectations, I mean, every client that we've undertaken a similar project with, they've seen their year one revenues increase by 10% overall as a company. Whether that is a product of hiring more staff, that will be determined by kind of the preliminary production before the release of the product. But if we have, say, lines out the door waiting on your release day, that might take the necessary steps from there to kind of bring in uh, possibly more labor and not only selling the product but also developing it in the manufacturing area.
No, makes sense. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about these concerns, and um, I'm looking forward to seeing where you kind of take those concerns and seeing if you can kind of add that on to what you've given us so far. We're pretty pleased with where you're at. I think we're very, very close to having a plan in place that's executable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the most important part of the success of this project is the back and forth communication between the two of us, because the most important thing for us as a firm is being able to cater to your needs as well as addressing any concerns you may have. That way we can take your company into the next level with this product release.
No, I appreciate it, and thank you, Connor, for your time.
Absolutely. No problem, Andrew. Let us know there if you have any other concerns in the future.
Perfect. Thank you.
Let's go. All right. Hi, Andrew. I just wanted to have this meeting with you today, kind of to see what our progress has been so far to these first couple of weeks in this project.
Yeah, no, Connor, thank you for the time. In the first 4 weeks, we've kind of come to the realization that we're going to be able to scale your project globally and be able to reach the markets that we need to grow your market share in your product. At the same time, we've also done a really good job of understanding of a better job of using data and technology to, kind of forecast what, the increase in productivity needs to be in those situations. Systematically, I think we've, kind of figured out that, you may be a little short staffed and, maybe an extra production line or, a little extra investment in overall production may be, the only way that you can, execute all this appropriately with the amount of content that we think we need to produce to, get this increased revenue.
Got it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I trust that you guys are will be able to guide us in in that right direction. What have been some of your key, I guess, data findings, figure findings in terms of what we've been able to do so far and towards what it looks like for the product release?
Well, I think some of the data findings have been we've really understood that, the market for this product is the 30 to 50-year-old male who understands technology, who is managing their company's network and cybersecurity and kind of IT space. We've also kind of noticed that, that space is coming more open to some of the other social media platforms that aren't Instagram and Facebook, such as TikTok and YouTube. And I think that increasing our YouTube awareness really helped, because as technical as your product is, people still go to YouTube for those type of things to learn about. So that's kind of what we've learned a little bit so far.
That's amazing. That sounds like it's really good progress so far. Sounds like we're taking that next step in the right direction. The only concern I'd say we have as a firm is kind of where you're getting this information from. Just it feels like we've kind of been out of that process in terms of gathering information with you. That seems to be your specialty as a data analytics focused company, but we just like to have a better idea for our future as to how you're getting this data and where you're getting it from.
So, as we talked previously, and you've been very gracious and let's talk to some of your managers in many different fields between sales, marketing, research and development, and production, that in previous client experience, that, understanding kind of the ability to scale your product and have the systems and kind of company culture in place needed to execute both isn't as easy as what the numbers say. And I think that's where why we were talking about production increase, that actually you have really good company culture, you have a really good production line, and you have the ability to expand a little bit enough to be able to reach where you want to reach. And I think being able to have that in place is going to be vital to our content creation, because if you can't execute the orders, there are competitors that are coming up quickly behind you, and without having that foresight, you're not going to be able to increase the market share you need.
Oh, definitely. And it's good to see that, at least from an outside perspective, we have some of those things in place that can make this project as successful as we want it to be. And we definitely want to be able to stay ahead of our competitors, and we feel this will be a real differentiator for us. So we appreciate all the help you've done so far, and we look forward to taking this project through the product release in a few weeks.
Awesome. Thank you, Connor. I appreciate your time. If you have any more questions, you know where to find me.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Andrew.